I don't know what any of this shit is, and I'm fucking scared.
First, you're gonna tell me about this science stuff.
Sorry about that. What is a scientist?
You caught me like I'm experimenting with
science.
It's like magic with electricity.
I know that. I'm not stupid. I'm smarter than you.
The smartest scientists in the entire world all agree
Science is a liar sometimes.
Seriously, this could not seem less scientific.
Those idiots don't know anything about science.
it's science.
I believe it's pronounced science.
This is the least scientific thing I've ever seen. So I'm just experimenting with them?
You be quiet.
Thank you, scientist.
Under the guise of science.
Hello.
I am Charles.
Hi, I'm Chris.
And that's our stuff.
We're the guys of science.
The fellas, dudes.
The fellas of science is my favorite.
I wouldn't consider us the bros of science. I'm sure there's other people. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a podcast called Bros of Science.
Probably. I don't think I hope we're not bro-ish. I like to think.
You know what? There's some overlap, but I wouldn't say that we're bros per se. But there are some stuff that overlaps. That, some common interests with bros.
Probably. Damn it, you're right.
Sorry, bros. Oh man, speaking of bros, I don't tell enough Bonesaw stories, so I'll tell a Bonesaw story. My cousin Bonesaw and I were at my brother's apartment, probably like almost 15 years ago now, and only 6 floors in the building. And as we're getting out of the elevator, I just swipe my hand right down all the buttons. Yeah, it's only 6. It's not that bad. But a guy was getting into the elevator immediately on the ground floor. And he turned, looked, and as the door is closing, he just, oh, come on, bros. And that was it. That was the last time I ever saw him. It made me so happy.
Hey, he was... I like that he wasn't angry about it, just more disappointed.
Which is amazing when it's not your parents, how much more you enjoy it. Oh, good. I was hoping to disappoint you.
I guess in the grand scheme of things, it's only a couple seconds. But yeah, when you get in the elevator and that's what you're facing on your way up, that's so fucking annoying.
Like, especially if you're in one of them elevators in like a really big building in the city, where they have different elevator banks for like 20 through 40, 41 through 60 or whatever. And you're like, cool, I'm getting this awesome, really fast elevator until the 40th floor.
You're going floor by floor now.
Stop and go traffic on the way up.
They changed a lot of that. A lot of buildings, they're sick of us pranksters. So they have, before you go into, like you said, there's the 3 banks and 20 floors between each of them. Before you go in, there's like a keypad where you push the floor and it tells you what car to go to. So you say you're on the 44th floor, it'll say car F, and it like distributes the people to different, and then you get into the elevator car itself and there's no buttons. So you just get in.
It's just going there.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's only going to a couple floors, and it like, smartly distributes these 3 people. Are you going to go to these 3 floors, and you get in that car, like that kind of thing.
Fucking with people. That's fucked up.
Yeah, they took it away. It took one of the oldest tools in the game.
You know what they can't take away? Taking a shit in the elevator.
I think they can, though, with police.
I mean, you can still do it, though. They can't stop you.
That's true, but I think that's more than come on, bros. Like, there's a different reaction for that.
Yo, how'd you get a black eye? Oh, I was taking a shit in the elevator and some dude punched me in the face while I was taking a shit.
Apparently it was frowned upon at 8:30 a.m. on a Tuesday.
Turns out it's not cool.
Yeah. That's how you learn.
You live and you learn.
Yeah.
You come up with theories and you experiment on them and you record the results.
Yeah. That's an example of crime and punishment, right? Depends
it is,
how far you step over the line.
They kill you.
You're fucking dead. That's right. That's what we're going to talk about tonight.
Yeah, you sent me this today, and I was like, all right. This is fucking weird. I'm down.
Yeah. No, I was looking up, I figured we'd do another hodgepodge type episode, but I didn't really see any articles that grabbed me, except for this one. And this one grabbed me hard. And so I figured we could lean into this and maybe just talk about some other things related to the death penalty.
Yeah, way to lean into a hard grab.
Yeah. This is So this article is from NBC News, and the headline is Alabama plans to execute a man using nitrogen gas. How will it work? Few know.
Which, when I saw the headline, I was like, is it like under lock and key somewhere? Like they're doing cells of information type shit, and no, they don't know. They don't know how it's gonna work.
Right.
Like the science is all there. Like if you don't give somebody enough oxygen, they're not going to live anymore.
Right. That's pretty well accepted science, I believe. I don't think there's a lot of controversy. I don't think we're being too controversial in saying that without oxygen, human beings don't live.
Yeah. Fucking deal with it. Hot takes. Yeah. Hot oxygen takes.
It's pretty fair to say. But so what they're doing here is it's called nitrogen hypoxia. And the plan is to use nitrogen gas to execute this individual. To set the stage, he murdered someone for money. There was a scheme where a man wanted his wife dead to collect on the life insurance and hired people to murder his wife. And it was brutal. It was beatings and it wasn't, we're not talking about a nice person here. So let's keep that in mind because we're going to be making jokes about killing this guy. So let's set the stage with that. But
we're going to be making fun of this guy all because he didn't have access to the dark web.
Yeah. Shit. Yeah. That other guy talked about that before. Yeah, I guess they were able to connect the dots back to this guy. But so what they're planning to do, they tried to kill him once already, and it didn't work because he didn't have good veins, or they couldn't find a good vein, according to this story.
So this was the first example throughout reading this entire article of me being torn on what to feel about stuff. Because, they couldn't find a vein? Who fucking cares? You're killing him.
Stick it in his face.
Yeah, just stick it wherever you'd like to. Why does it have to be in the arm? I'm sure he's got some bulging vein somewhere on his body.
Yeah, did he use too much heroin in his lifetime and collapse all of his veins? And now it's like, is that the get out of death penalty cheat code? Just do heroin?
If you're planning on murdering somebody, get really into heroin first.
I think, yeah, that's good advice. And you'll probably fuck it up so that person will stay alive too. So, yeah.
And even if you pull the job off, you're going to be so into heroin at that point that you're not going to murder anybody again.
Yeah,
unless it can get you more heroin.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say, your life will just revolve around heroin from now on. Let's just do that instead. I think that's good advice. If your plan is to murder someone, do heroin instead. That's the only time I'll suggest you do that instead of killing someone.
It's a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, just fuck off the old-fashioned way. Have some fun with it.
But yeah, so I I had that feeling of like, why does it matter like how nicely you have to do it? But then there were like also other times that I was like, oh, fuck, man, like other different stuff that they talked about. I was like, oh, that sounds like it sucks, man. Why would they do that to him? It's like, because he fucking killed somebody for money. He killed a person. But yeah, there's
still a level of humaneness that the state has to achieve when even though they're killing a killer.
Yeah, like you figure it would just want it over just as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
That just, however, like the fact that like you could choose, right? Can't you choose in some states how you want?
You can choose, but there's preferred methods and then there's accepted methods, and some methods are not allowed. Depends on what state you're in and what you're going for. Like I think beheading is out across the board.
Like is it? And if I feel like if this is treading on a Carlin bit already, which it probably is, but like cruel and unusual punishment, no, make it as fucking unusual as you fucking can.
Yeah, let's get weird with it.
Yeah, fucking like catapult into a brick wall.
That'd be fun.
Like the Super Dave doing the slam dunk and just gets slammed right into the fucking backboard.
Well, we should donate their bodies to science while they're still alive. Isn't there? There has to be, how long can someone last in space without a suit?
Yeah.
Time them. Stop waving when you're dead. Yep, he stopped waving.
Or just, or you can gamble on it. You know, somebody's got to be better at it. They're not all going to do the same. Somebody might have a better life force or like a will to live up to a certain point.
Yeah, they close their eyes a little harder so their eyeballs don't bulge out. Hang on for another 3. It's like someone having impressive 4.5 at the 40. Like, he's a blue chipper.
Now he's just scattered in blue chips in outer space. Could definitely make money on it. The only world record you're only ever given posthumously.
At least you got something going for you.
Yeah. You see this guy? He did a fucking 9-3 on the body explosion. As the blood tries to escape your body on its own.
You have to figure out how do you make money off it and donate it to the victims, because there's still that. They didn't get kicked out into space for fun. Well, for our fun, but not for their fun.
Can you imagine the amount? Oh, I don't know. Like the amount of money you'd need up front to try to get that business off the ground. It's like, no. We're gonna bring like 10 people into space, and we're gonna push them all out for the death penalty. Just in hope.
I think if we tagged Elon Musk in this, he might be down. Like, I don't think we can probably merge with SpaceX. It would be a reason to go up to space.
Oh, cool!
And it would be the biggest bro thing he could do. We are bro adjacent, as we established.
Oh man, and I think of all the joke ideas we've come up with, this is by far the least joke idea. I think this is very doable.
I think so.
He really is the perfect person to pitch this to, because
it's so crazy it just might work.
Right. He's already got the getting stuff into space on the regular happening.
Right. Like, and we would have to say is, Elon Musk, you won't send prisoners up there to be executed in space. You don't have the balls to do that. And he'd be like, oh yeah? And he would fucking do it. And we'd be in it. We'd be in. You won't cut us in with some of that for having the idea.
You don't have the balls to cut us in on this next idea. Oh man, let's get him.
All right.
Yeah, so the death penalty.
Oh yeah. Nitrogen hypoxia.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you would suffocate in space, but it would be worse. So nitrogen hypoxia, apparently the idea is you're still breathing. So you're still kind of respirating and your body won't go into that panic necessarily that it would if you were drowning, say. But you would just kind of black out forever, almost like, tunnel vision and then goodbye.
Okay.
That's what they think would happen. But like noted in, let me just scroll down to the actual quote because this was a good quote. This was Elizabeth Sennett, son Michael Sennett. He said, "I mean, you can't really test it on nobody, but I just hope they get it right this time." So, like, you can't test it on nobody. That is the issue.
No, you need a body. You're
Right.
you're trying to create a body.
Yeah. you need a somebody to turn into this nobody.
That's right. I laughed really hard when I read that clip that sentence the first time.
Yeah.
I was like, I love when that happens, when a regional dialect can be inferred based entirely off of the words that they published.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's Alabama from the get-go, but
Yeah.
this person was born and raised in Alabama.
You can't really test it on nobody. And it's like,
Yeah.
I know exactly how you sound.
Right. That's old blood in Alabama. Your family's been there. I mean, can't really test on nobody. But I just hope they get it right this time. Like there's a handful of people in this story that are just like, I don't give a shit as long as he's dead, which I find, that they're like, this is all well and good, all of this science talk, but let's stay focused on the task at hand.
Eyes on the prize, folks.
Right.
Come on, let's.
Yeah.
Are we looking at this carrot or not? What's
Right.
going on
You
here?
remember my mom. Let's like that's what we're for. Justice for her.
Hypoxia. Is that the same thing that happens to you if you get shot out in space? Because I think, like, is that what you die of, or you actually die because you get? Oh, your blood tries to explode out of your body, right?
Well, there's a whole bunch of stuff bad that happens in space. Like space is competing with itself to kill you in different ways. If it's not between the radiation and the lack of the gravity and the heat or the cold or the lack of oxygen or all of that stuff combined, everything wants you dead at the same time. So space is different. But I'm not sure of the difference between hypoxia and suffocation.
Okay, and because I'm going to have questions about that too, but back to our Elon Musk pitch for a second, like to really lean into the gambling angle, you do over/under on specific times, and then there's sensors that are able to determine the cause of death as it's happening.
Ooh.
So now you can bet on over/under that, and then you can bet on whatever it is. Let's say 7 different ways that you could die from being in space.
Yeah, is it heart, lungs, brain? But what was it? Blood?
Yeah,
Which thing stopped? Okay.
We're not even going to have to pitch this. It's just going to be, hey, listen to this. Listen to the first 20 minutes of this fucking podcast real quick and tell me you don't have a hard on for this fucking idea right now, bro.
Yeah.
Let's get him.
If anybody's gonna get a boner over what we've talked about so far, it's probably Elon Musk.
Let's get him.
All right.
Let's get that money. And as a backup, let's always just kind of keep Mark Cuban in the periphery. He doesn't have the logistics set up in place. He does have a lot of money.
He does. I don't know that he'd go for the killing people in space thing though. I think he's kind of like
he is very
less insane. It's one way. Not saying you're insane, Elon. I want to work with you, but there's degrees to this shit.
Yeah, let's swap out insane for sick.
Yeah.
Dude, you're fucking sick, bro.
It's totally not as brutal, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Cubes is more, as the RZA said, benevolent.
Yeah.
He's way nicer with his money.
He's the nice shark.
What was you said difference between hypoxia and suffocation before.
Yeah.
What about, my first thing was like, oh, so this is probably like drowning, but it actually isn't like drowning, because hypoxia and drowning don't feel the same specifically or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. So, yeah, suffocation, I just Googled it while you were talking. Suffocation refers to a complete lack of oxygen due to the inability to breathe. It can be caused by drowning, choking. Suffocation can be caused by suffocation, apparently, or strangulation. Hypoxia, on the other hand, is a condition where there is a decrease in the amount of oxygen reaching the body's tissues. So it can be caused by depletion of dissolved oxygen in aquatic environment, blah, blah, blah. So that's hypoxia can happen in the ocean as well, which is something that happens during extinction level events. You can get anoxic and stuff like that.
Oh, so like when you like when people kill themselves with car in the garage with carbon monoxide. Like that's probably hypoxia then, right?
That sounds more like hypoxia, yeah.
Because it sounds like the main difference between the two is that hypoxia is you still have the mechanism of breathing. Like your body is still doing the breathing thing, and it's poisoning you and killing you. Whereas like drowning or suffocating is you can't get any air into your lungs at all, regardless of what it's made of.
Right. You're in an oxygen-rich environment, but someone's hands are around your throat.
Right. Okay.
Right. So it doesn't, versus the other place, everything's fine. There's just no oxygen for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm glad I didn't Google that today. I was going to say, let's see if he can help me.
I Googled it for you. But we got 3 minutes out of it, so.
I get why Tim doesn't use Google and asks you because you know how to use it.
We'll make it into a thing, yeah. So, yeah.
That's crazy.
But, I mean, and now we get to the mystery side of the article where, it sounded like, wait a minute, what's being left out? So a lot of information was apparently redacted in the report or the study of this method to use the nitrogen gas. So that was the questions, I guess, the defense had around it. Like, what is the state protocol? That's the next part of the article, and the state protocol has a lot of things that are redacted. So things like, what is the source of the gas? Is it being shipped to the location or produced somewhere? Is it a reputable company? Do we know the oxygen content to the amount of nitrogen in there? Because if there is a mix with oxygen, not enough to actually end someone's life, it could lead to pain and bad situation, almost poison, where now the criminal is not dying, they're throwing up into the mask and choking on their own vomit instead of softly going to sleep and stuff like that. So there's very, very little room for error when it comes to any mixing with oxygen.
And percentage wise, like as far as the percentage of oxygen that you'd be getting over, nitrogen that you'd be getting over oxygen, like the air is already 80% nitrogen, right? Something like that. It's pretty high up. So
70, 80. But it's on
something like that.
the higher,
I,
more than
I wonder,
half.
I wonder what the threshold is there, but I guess that's all redacted, right? Or are other people able to figure that out?
I don't know. Yeah, it seems like a lot of that stuff is what is redacted. And things about the protocol, like how do we know that it's not a risk to other people? There's, I guess, like the person that's going to give the last rites is going to be in the room with the person at least 3 feet away. What's the protocol for if out of nowhere that guy passes out because the mask wasn't secured properly and the chamber is filling with nitrogen or something like that?
Yeah, like how are you guaranteeing that it's all just getting into the guy that's supposed to get killed?
Yeah, lethal injection, it's, I mean, even if you fuck up, it's only one person.
Yeah, I mean, unless like you sneeze and fall backwards and accidentally stab the priest in the neck with the fucking needle.
Oh my god, all 3 of them.
All 3 of so is lethal injection like with the firing squad, like where a couple different people inject and nobody knows who does it? Is that what you meant?
No, they use different drugs. They use 3 different drugs to do 3 different things. The first one just puts you to sleep calmly.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
The but by the way, one of the things I loved about this article, within the first paragraph, it brought up this as an alternative to lethal injection due to scarcity or the scarcity of the drugs to do so. I was like, what the fuck? I feel like this should just be one thing. But it turns out I looked into it, or I clicked on that link in there, and I don't know if you have this brought up or not, but the drug companies that are involved, or the drug companies that make the drugs that they use, essentially are saying, no, we don't like this. It's bad press. Our drugs are used to keep people alive. And it's like,
wow,
fucking drug companies, really?
Yeah,
that's where you're fucking drug. No, we don't want to be associated with killing criminals. We want to be. We'd much rather be associated with slowly poisoning an entire country over the course of their lives.
Yeah,
make them live longer to poison them more.
Yeah, we're not into lethal injection. We're into overcharging people by over 800% to keep them alive indefinitely. Like, yeah, that's where you have a conscience.
No, we don't want them to die. They can't give us any money if they're dead. Fucking gross.
And that's why there's a shortage. That's pretty stupid.
Yep. So we were talking about...
so we were talking about the risks.
Yes.
So another thing that I noticed when the vet company or whatever weighs in, where is it? It's like the National Association of Veterinary, the American Veterinary Medical Association has used this to euthanize certain animals, such as chickens and turkeys. And the vet company or whatever the association says this method isn't good for big animals. It recommends sedatives for larger animals. So I would say humans are probably on the larger side, and the vets have more experience with this. So I don't know. It sounds like this is going to go awful.
No, we have to figure out a different way to kill this person. Isn't it so weird to have a job where you get to say, God, I really hope this fucking person dies. And it be for the sake of your job.
Yeah. I hope so. I hope I didn't fuck up and this person dies.
Oh man, if this person doesn't die, that's really gonna fuck with my mortgage payment. It's fucking bananas.
Just insanity between the people that are trying to defend him or going to bat to say that this method is not going to be humane, or the risk that if he vomits and he chokes or he experiences the sensation of feeling suffocated or potentially left in a vegetative state, all this different stuff. And and state prosecutors are saying that those possibilities are speculative, and they believe it's possible for nitrogen to be used humanely. So they're like, no, they're speculating, but we speculate that it's going to go fine. So it's the battle of speculations.
It's like, no. The doctors and the scientists are all saying that could happen. However, the prosecution, says it's probably going to work.
Right.
So who are you going to trust about science? A doctor or a lawyer? Come on.
I'm not even sure the doctors know. I mean, other than the vets, nobody really has much experience with this. They're all just kind of, yeah, it sounds like it'll work. I think they, if I scroll up a little bit here, there was a liquid nitrogen leak at a chicken processing plant in Georgia in 2021, and 6 workers died from nitrogen asphyxiation. And a U.S. Chemical Safety Board reviewed a report with dozens of cases of nitrogen asphyxiation between 92 and 2002 and found that 80 deaths, with the majority of incidents occurring in manufacturing and industrial settings. But they were, they didn't have a way to detect the oxygen in confined spaces and mistakenly used nitrogen gas instead of breathing air.
Oh, man.
So it seems like it happened to people accidentally. Based on that, though, I mean, were they flailing their arms and blah, blah, blah?
Yeah, we don't necessarily know what they were. Yeah, they could have been like clawing at their own throats.
Yeah.
Like breaking fingernails as they scratched the door trying to get out.
Yeah. Yikes.
Man, just it's gotta suck dying at work. It's like, I didn't even want to.
Yeah.
I'm not even supposed to be here. It's gonna be terrible.
Yeah. The last place I wanted to go today, and then here we are.
Yeah.
I knew I should have called in. And I fight every day to call in sick. And today, damn it.
Like, statistically wise, there's definitely people that have died on their first day of a new job. Like, at their job. Has to have. All the people who've had jobs ever, has to.
There was probably somebody who was super excited. They're going to work for the first day of their life, and they're way at the top of the trade center. Like they're made the big time. They're working, and then they got hit by a fucking plane at work. Like, I bet that happened.
Oh, had to have been. It's like everything I've been doing in my life has been building towards this moment.
Yeah.
It's like,
What's that? Bang. Yeah.
Which,
damn it.
Another plug to Shane Gillis. he has the joke about how ridiculous the Australian accent is. He was like, even 9/11 sounds funny in an Australian accent. It's like, oh fuck, that was a plane. Oh, look out, here's another one.
It does.
Even though he's selling out theaters very comfortably, go check out Shane Gillis. 40 of you.
He needs your downloads too. The last couple things in this article, though, that the amount of people that are trying to throw monkey wrenches in this or suggest other things or whatever you want to say. Again, Michael Sennett said, "It doesn't matter to me how he goes out, so long as he goes." And also the judge that sentenced Smith in 1996 a judge sentenced Smith to death in 1996, despite a jury voting 11-1 that he receive life in prison. So the jury was, for the most part, the majority said no. Let's life in prison. And this judge was like, you know what? Fuck him. And went to the death penalty. So there's a handful of people that really want this guy dead.
I didn't even know judges could do that.
I don't know how any of that shit works. That's
mean,
well beyond my knowledge of the law.
Alabama judges, I don't know, they might have that if it's they might have it written into their state's laws. If the judge does not agree with the verdict, he can create his own verdict.
As long as you have one juror that voted for it, he can
Yep.
hop on board with that. I like your opinion. Everyone else can go home.
It would be
You're all
crazy
dismissed.
if the one juror was like a Make-A-Wish juror, and then because he voted that, and it's like, well, anytime a Make-A-Wish person votes for something, even if it's 11-1, we have to do it by law.
There's a 10-year-old that was like, burn him. I'm taking him with me.
Like the pro teams always do that. They have the kids that sign like the 1-day contract.
Yeah.
With the it's like, this kid wanted to be a juror that bad on a possible death penalty case.
And funny story about because I've had Make-A-Wish come to my house, and you have to like. We prepped Michael. Well, not even prepped him. Just kind of like talk to him about different ideas about things that you could say, because the Make-A-Wish people come and they talk to the child and they ask the child what they want to do. And we had no friggin' clue what Michael was planning. He kept like, he was messing with us and saying things that he wanted to like, he wanted to either meet somebody or go to work with me or something. I was like, I'll just take you to work anytime. You don't need to like stupid stuff. Things like that. It's like, no, this is your chance. You can go big with this. And they asked him, and he turned and smiled and looked at us and then said Disney. And we were like, you, that's all.
This whole time you guys were leading the witness.
There was a slight chance that we were going to meet Kevin Owens. I was like, you don't even really like wrestling. You just saw Kevin Owens once and remembered his name. So, I mean, I like Kevin Owens. It's cool for me, but you're wasting a wish here. This is a once.
This is supposed to be for you. I appreciate that you want to make a
This
wish.
trip literally cost a kidney, so then it was yours. So you get to do something special. Please don't come to work with me. So yeah, if he was like, I want to be a juror on this, you what? Why did you pick that? Yeah, it's like the options are meet someone, go somewhere, or do something. So like you can be, I want to be a fireman or something like that. No, do that for.
It would be amazing if you could say things like, I want OJ to go back on trial and I want to sit on the jury. It's like, well, you made the wish. We have to.
Right.
We have to. You're going to say, Juice, you're going to say no to that? Really? You're going to say no to the kid, Juice? Come on.
He's a 4-year-old boy with no hair. I dare you. Look him in the face. Look him in his sunken eyes and tell him.
Oh, Christ.
This is how I heal, everyone.
Did not have that on the bingo card for this evening's show.
That's never planned. But the final quote from this guy is, the fact that they've got me lined up to be the first with gas is really terrifying, he said. Yeah, it's surreal to be in this position. Well, maybe you shouldn't have killed that lady for money. And we wouldn't be in this surreal position.
It's terrifying. For the record, I bet however you're gonna die is terrifying. Knowing uncertainty of, man, I might not die from this, and I'm supposed to die. It's like, how did you make the thing that should have sucked the most suck more? Like knowing you're gonna get fucking put down, and it might not even work.
Yeah, and they're 0 for 1. They're gonna try. We're gonna test this one out. It's brand new, and you're up.
So, the first time that he was supposed to die, do you think it had like in Fight Club when they did I think they called it the human sacrifice, where they hold the guy at gunpoint, take his license. I asked the guy, "What do you want to be?" He said, "I want to be a veterinarian." And he said, "Well, if you don't go back to school, I have your license. I'm gonna come check on you, and if you're not doing this, I'm gonna fucking kill you."
Yeah.
Like, do you think? So the line that Brad Pitt wraps it up with was like, "Tomorrow his breakfast will taste better than any of ours have ever tasted," or something like that.
Right.
So going forward, even though this dude's on fucking death row, after he gets out of that first time he's put down, is his prison just awesome going forward for him?
Yeah, maybe. Like that thin ass mattress never felt so fluffy.
Yeah. Gruel and fruit cocktail every fucking day.
Does he get 2 last meals? Because he had one and it didn't work out. Does he get another one next time they try?
Oh, man. And if he does he get the same thing? Because it was either
right.
A, so good, or B, he's superstitious. I ate this last time.
Right. And it broke, don't fix it. I don't know. Yeah, or last time he was like, "Oh, I was so torn between these two things. Now I could pick the other one." I don't know.
Oh, man. Imagine he knew people with money and got one of the executioners to throw the execution just solely based on a want for a second last meal, just because he wasn't sure. He was able to put together the capital.
Yeah, they're like, "We're not doing surf and turf," and he was like, "Come here, let's work this out." Yeah.
I will get shrimp this time. I'm gonna get a ribeye steak next time. There has to be a next time. All right, what can you do for me? What's it gonna do? Everybody's got a number, bro.
Ooh, if you're going for your last meal, and let's say you're allergic to shrimp, and then you pick shrimp, and your throat starts to close, do they save you so they could kill you, or
oh
they
man,
just let you die?
I have no idea.
If I was allergic, I'm not allergic to anything.
Oh man, that'd be incredible if they had to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because somebody has to have tried to pick a thing that would, like an allergy. Again, statistically, so many people have been put to death and asked for crazy shit because people have been put to death and they had to say, "Hey, you can't ask for this." Like, so there had to be like a bunch of attempts. Is like, no, we can't have these people ask for this anymore. This is terrible.
Right, this is getting ridiculous. Yeah.
But everything that it's got to be, it would seem to be a terrible death, like dying of something that you're allergic to, because like anaphylactic shock looks awful. If
I agree.
If it's anything like movie makeup has portrayed, I would definitely agree that I don't want that to happen to me.
They're probably fairly close, if nothing else. I think with the makeup side, they're usually pretty good with that. Oof. They meaning everyone in Hollywood ever.
Yeah, that article is bananas.
Yeah.
That whole story is bananas.
So that kind of led me down the path of methods of execution.
Oh.
And so that led me to an article, which is on... Sorry, go ahead.
Methods of Execution. I don't know what genre, but that's definitely that's a good album name. Right there. Maybe a rapper.
Ooh.
Maybe like, I feel like you could probably get away with that with like an aggressive metal band. Best.
Yeah, that's a like a Metallica.
All right.
That's a Slayer album name could work, or a song. Yeah.
Yeah. I want Slayer to. Slayer's not going to tour again, but I want Slayer to tour one more time. Just one more time. They're all alive. Come on, fellas.
Who is define all?
All right. Yeah. All right.
They're definitely not. Yeah.
Jeff Hanneman is not alive, but
Right.
they were still touring.
Yeah.
For like 6 or 7 years.
It was Carrie and Tom, and I think it wasn't Dave Lombardo anymore. It was Bostaff, that Paul Bostaff,
Yeah.
I think. And I forget the name of the guitar player who replaced Jeff Hanneman.
Yeah, I knew it at one point in time.
Yeah.
But tonight is not that point in time.
As long as it was most of them and they were playing Slayer songs, that would be good enough. That's the key to a good Slayer concert is Slayer songs.
Slayer songs and Slayer being there. Those are
That's usually all you need.
Those are my two criteria for a good. Were they there? Did they play their songs? Yes, it was good.
So this is an article, well, not even an article. It looks like it's from deathpenaltyinformationcenter.org, which I don't know.
Which I didn't even catch that the first time that I clicked on it. Like I clicked on it. I thought it was another article. I was like, oh, this is neat, because it had the kind of standard BuzzFeed format.
Yep.
And then,
but no, this is this is under curriculum for high school.
Oh shit! What high school?
Just in general, if you're a high school teacher and it's death penalty day in class, I guess you can go here and get yourself a syllabus.
Oh shit! Death penalty day. God damn it! Imagine you call out on death penalty day, like you didn't know about it.
Yeah, damn it! I got sick.
Oh,
I missed death penalty. Yeah. I would just like to point out that beheadings are still the preferred method of execution in Saudi Arabia and other countries around the world. And I think that's going to be the ladder we're measuring, or the measuring stick will compare these other methods to for humaneness.
It's the preferred, not amongst the death penaltied, the death penalized.
Probably not.
No
just
fucking way.
The state.
Yeah.
Yeah, the heads of state. No, those who are being beheaded probably would rather not use that method. I would imagine.
I bet they'd rather be headed. All right. That immediately, that's just culturally such a difference. It's like, no, we're killing them because we want them dead. We don't care how it feels to them.
But I would imagine it's pretty quick. I mean, well, assuming what you're using is sharp enough and strong enough, and you can, do the beheading in one fell swoop versus, like when, if it takes a couple of hacks, that's probably.
Oh God.
Yeah, right.
It's got to be brutal. Which they said during the, and by they said, I mean I heard in my ears at some point in the 42 plus years I've been alive that the guillotines.
Yeah.
By the end of the day, they were chopping off so many heads that it would kind of get dull, and they'd have to do a couple of passes. That's got to be so fucking terrible.
Yeah. Can you imagine? Yeah, the first one, now the person's screaming, and you got to raise it back up. You're like, shut up. We're doing it as quick as we can. Oh, Jesus.
The prisoners are like, hey, listen, I want to go first in the day. I have a lot of money. The people killing them were like, look, motherfucker, you all have money. That's why this is a revolution. You guys have too much of it.
Right.
If we could find a way for you all to go last, we would do so.
Did you not get that? Did you? Were we not clear? All right, well. Let me go through this. I think this is all fairly interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 methods listed here. So we'll start with hanging. Until the 1890s, hanging was the primary method of execution used in the United States. Hanging was still authorized in Delaware and Washington when courts in those states struck down the death penalty, although both had lethal injection as a primary method of execution. The last hanging to take place was January 25th, 1996 in Delaware.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we were in fucking high school. Hanging still going on. We were probably watching the Channel 1 news or whatever bullshit, and someone's getting fucking hanged.
Fucking Lisa Ling's telling us something that we definitely have forgotten already by this point in our lives.
Yeah. That's right. I remember she was on it, and Anderson Cooper was on it too. And he made it to the fucking
Was Anderson
big
Cooper
time,
on
right?
that?
Yeah.
Oh,
he was on that way
shit.
back when.
Gotta look into that shit again. Let's see.
Brown hair and all.
Wasn't always the silver fox, eh?
No. So continuing on, for execution by this method, the inmate may be weighed the day before the execution, and a rehearsal is done using a sandbag of the same weight as the prisoner. This is to determine the drop necessary to ensure a quick death. If the rope is too long, the inmate could be decapitated, and if it's too short, the strangulation could take as long as 45 minutes.
Oh, God.
The rope, and it gets into the diameter of the rope, that it must be boiled and stretched to eliminate spring or coiling, and the knot must be lubricated with wax, blah, blah, blah.
Wow.
But, yeah, a lot. I didn't realize that much thought goes into it.
Yeah, because, and I think, man, it's, I was going to be like, well, this is a dark thing. It's like, we've been talking about killing people for the last
55
hour.
minutes to death, dark.
But the, like, a lot of people that attempt to hang themselves for suicide, what kills you from being hanged is snapping your neck, not suffocating. So
Right.
these things end up being like terrible. You end up torturing yourself for the final seconds of your life instead of it just being over in a snap.
Yeah.
Literally.
I mean, and even the pros that are doing it, this next paragraph, immediately before the execution, the prisoner's hands and legs are secured. He or she is blindfolded. The noose is placed around the neck, but not behind the left ear. The execution takes place when a trapdoor is opened and the prisoner falls through. The prisoner's weight should cause a rapid fracture dislocation of the neck. However, instantaneous death rarely occurs. So even the pros doing it, it still doesn't fucking work out right.
Yeah.
If the inmate has strong neck muscles, is very light, if the drop is too short, or the noose has been wrongly positioned, the fracture dislocation is not rapid, and death results from slow asphyxiation. If this occurs, the face becomes engorged, the tongue protrudes, the eyes pop, the body defecates, and violent movements of the limbs occur.
You delivered that very much like these are a few of my favorite things.
That was my favorite sentence of that whole thing.
When the pants poop, when my eyes pop.
Yeah, he went very, very specific on the face is engorged, the tongue protrudes, and then just generic the body. They would say the butthole defecates. It's specific in there.
That's like the butthole defecates. It's like, oh, good. I was wondering where it was going to happen out of this specific circumstance.
Yeah, the body. That's just.
It's like, hey, I'll be right back. I gotta go pee out of my dick. It's like, no shit. That's
how it works. I hope
that's how dicks work for the most part.
Yeah.
Oh man. And this is a .org website.
Yep. And I like if the inmate has strong neck muscles. So Kurt Angle.
Yeah, why did you okay it? He has strong. That should be on the sheet. On the
Someone
triplicate
test
sheet.
that, yeah. Yeah, work that into the test sandbag that you use.
Also, why aren't they like putting weight vests on them?
On the people?
Yeah, weight vests.
Yeah.
Even those fucking those wrap around your ankle like soft weights with the Velcro.
Right.
Even if it's just a little
Should
bit
be
more
enough,
weight.
yeah.
Yeah. Why are they not doing that?
Yeah, I would think decapitation in this case is preferred to the strangling, right? So if you're gonna screw up, go with heavy and long. And
Yeah, overshoot.
like, oh, well, it was quick at least. Yeah, exactly.
I can't imagine why overshooting would be like you're going through all this to have a system in place to make sure that they die quickly and
Right.
comfortably. Fucking lean into it.
Yeah. Or like if it's too short and there's a couple people with sticks to like bash him in the head while he strangles himself and like no, just fucking end it. Go long, go heavy, head off. Make it clean.
Oh yeah, why don't they put like razor blades or knives around the inside of the noose? So it drops down, and instead of snapping your neck, it just slices it through your neck and totally beheads you.
And yeah, whoosh, quick and easy. Again, Saudi Arabia, beheading. Sounds brutal. Maybe it's onto something though. You just got to do it right.
Just get it out of the way. What? Rip the Band-Aid off, and by the Band-Aid, we mean their head.
So the next one's quick, I think. This is, if I were to pick, I feel like this is the one I would go with if I had to. Firing squad.
It's the most badass. Like, if you pick firing squad, it's like, all right, I see you. I almost want to let you off and expunge your crimes for picking it. That's pretty fucking dope, bro.
Right. Yeah, it's all the respect. Game recognized game.
I see you. I see you out there.
I mean, again, you probably murdered someone for money or something along those lines to get in this predicament, but I respect how you're going out.
You probably murdered somebody for money or for fun.
Oh, yeah, that's...
Or because you liked how it made you feel like a god for a few hours.
R.I.P. Norm. But the firing squad is still selectable in 4 states, apparently. The last person to choose this method was Ronnie Gardner in Utah on June 17th, 2010.
Wow.
So this is still going on. The science behind this. For execution by this method, the prisoner is typically bound to a chair with a leather straps across his waist and head in front of an oval-shaped canvas wall. The chair is surrounded by sandbags to absorb the inmate's blood. A black hood is pulled over the inmate's head. A doctor locates the inmate's heart with a stethoscope and pins a circular white cloth over it. Standing in an enclosure 20 feet away, 5 shooters are armed with .30 caliber rifles loaded with single rounds. One of the shooters is given blank rounds, and each of the shooters aims his rifle through a slot in the canvas between them and the prisoner and fires at the prisoner.
That part, the whole blank rounds, so that like there's the diffusion of responsibility a little bit. Like we all did it. I didn't specifically do this kind of thing. And maybe this is because I'm not a type of person who would want to find themselves in that situation, shooting a guy, killing somebody for money, but legally.
Right.
But yeah, like if I would much rather just know I have a live round or don't.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't.
You wouldn't want to...
Like, because the uncertainty would be bad enough. The 20% chance that I'm not holding the actual round and getting an opportunity to know for sure. Because 100% of the time, the way they do it currently, it's I might have killed that guy. I might have killed him.
Right.
But again, people who are in that type of situation are like, yeah, I'm trying to fucking kill somebody, bro.
I would imagine, yeah. Like that's one of those, like you were saying, you did a good job because, and good point. That leads me to the next paragraph. But the prisoner dies as a result of blood loss caused by rupture of the heart or a large blood vessel, or tearing of the lungs. The person shot loses consciousness when shock causes a fall in the supply of blood to the brain. If the shooters miss the heart by accident or intention, the prisoner bleeds to death slowly. So, like, there's that idea that if you're in there, you better not miss. Or if you're a sadistic fuck, maybe you miss on purpose. Fuck this dude, let him bleed slowly. Like, there's that human element.
Yeah, depending on the crime, like it could be all 5 dudes going, "Yo, inch to the right."
Like, I got the balls, you each get a shoulder. Let's go big or go home.
Oh my god, all 5 shots in the left thigh. That is terrible.
Someone distracted us. Something.
The
white cloth fell.
You guys didn't hear that bird? I could have sworn we all could swear we heard a bird.
The doctor's in there with the cloth and the stethoscope. He's like, wow, he has 2 hearts and they're both at his knees. Aim there.
It's just like the failed lethal injections from before, all 5 shots right into the priest.
But I do feel like we're at the point in time where we could replace the humans with robots in this case and just have robot shooters, right? Have a target, here's the target, and then no one needs that blank round. No one has to be a bloodthirsty killer to be in this job or anything like that. We just have robots aim at this guy and everybody goes home.
Yeah, I mean, if we learned anything from Short Circuit, the Short Circuit film series, is that robots have laser cannons on them, and they're laser guided as well for targeting purposes. And yeah, you get let's bring back the Short Circuit robots from the first movie, and that's who's going to kill everybody.
Okay, I'm in. They just got to watch the old electrocution.
How many signatures do you think we'd need to get that idea off the ground?
Again, just one. Okay. Elon Musk. We just need Elon Musk to buy in on some of this shit.
All we need to do is upset some people that he doesn't like, and just based on that, he's like, "Oh yeah, actually, I was planning on doing this. I was going to do this anyway."
Most people on Twitter.
Yeah. Most people on his platform.
Yeah. Women. Who else?
Some of them other people Elon hates. Electrocution.
Yeah. Speaking of electrocution, so they give a little history of this one, which it was supposed to be a more humane method of execution. And today it is no longer used as the sole method in any state, though in some states it is a choice if lethal injection cannot be performed or if the inmate chooses it. But so the person is usually shaved and strapped to a chair with belts that cross the chest, groin, legs, and arms. A metal skull cap shaped electrode is attached to the scalp and forehead over a sponge moistened with saline. The sponge must not be too wet, or the saline short circuits the electric current, and not too dry, as it would then have very high resistance. Either way would be bad for the person being electrocuted. An additional electrode is moistened with conductive jelly, electro cream, this sounds like a brand name, and attached to a portion of the prisoner's leg that has been shaved to reduce his resistance to electricity, and the prisoner is blindfolded. So
electro cream
bottom,
kills prisoners on the first time, every time. Available on Amazon and at Genevieve's and JCPenney.
Yeah, you have to. I don't know if that's what you make. Like, just get one contract going with whatever inmate prison. You don't need a funny name. This is that stuff.
We're gonna be the zany electrocution
Yeah.
assistant cream.
There are at least 2 other brands that they could choose. Why are they going to choose us? Because we have fun. We have an attitude.
We're gonna choose electro cream because murder right and electro death creams are they're too heavy. You need to have a light attitude when you're getting into killing prisoners via
Their
electricity.
containers are bland. They're gray. Look at Electro Cream. It has lightning bolts. It's white. It has color.
Green Mile, Stephen King books, then movie eventually.
Michael Clark Duncan vehicle.
Exactly the same.
Yeah.
There was one of the characters, one of the prisoners on death row with him gets electrocuted, and one of the guards hated him. So he intentionally put a dry sponge on the guy's head when they were electrocuting him. And Stephen King fucking... You think seeing it on screen is fucked up. Stephen King writes a horrible sentence.
Yeah.
He writes many terrible sentences. He's dare I say he's made a career writing terrible sentences. It's kind of his thing.
That's kind of his wheelhouse.
Yeah. Oh my God. It was like describing this guy cooking to death. Essentially.
Jesus.
Over the course of 4 or 5 pages. Oh my God.
Oof.
Yeah, that's how I know about old electricity.
Through Stephen
King.
King describing it tearing through someone's body and destroying them. Yeah, I mean it says the jolt is between 500 and 2,000 volts, which are both very high, but that's still a large range. Or whatever. They jolt them for 30 seconds, a surge, and then they turn it off. It says, at which time the body is seen to relax. I bet it stops doing everything it was doing and relaxes. The doctors wait if
this guy needs to relax. Let's fucking pump a surge into him real quick.
Now he's relaxed. If the doctors wait a few seconds for the body to cool down and then check to see if the inmate's heart is still beating. If it is, another jolt is applied, and this process continues until the prisoner is dead.
So why don't they just do all jolts?
I don't know. Maybe it's
because they do
dangerous.
They
to
do
go,
the one,
or...
and then they do a jolt at the end and then stop. Oh, it didn't kill him. All right, another jolt. It's like, why wouldn't you just do the jolt the whole time?
Right. Just stay on it. Yeah. Make sure. I mean, maybe because of the risk of fire. I don't know. Because a whole bunch what I see in here is here's U.S. Supreme Court Justice William Brennan offered the following description of an execution by electric chair. The prisoner's eyeballs sometimes pop out and rest on his cheeks. The prisoner often...
Whoa!
Yeah. The prisoner often defecates, urinates, and vomits blood and drool. The body turns bright red as its temperature rises, and the prisoner's flesh swells, and his skin stretches to the point of breaking. Sometimes the prisoner catches fire. Witnesses hear a loud and sustained sound like bacon frying, and the sickly sweet smell of burning flesh permeates the chamber. That's a first-hand account.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
That sounds awful. We don't know. That 30 seconds could feel like a week.
Yeah.
Like it oh. No thanks. I'm good on that.
No.
Which, by the way, so 2 to 10,000 volts? Is that what
It was 500 to 2,000.
Oh, 500 to 2,000. All right.
Yeah.
Number one, I was
in that
way
range
off initially.
Yeah, 10,000 is the fuck. If there's anything like you don't I think if you're doing 10,000, you don't need a doctor to go check anything.
Right? Is that what? Are they pinching their pennies?
Yeah, we don't need one
And
here.
it's quicker, but if we run it at just 2,000 volts for most of this thing, they'll be dead within a minute.
Yeah, keep it going. And if they're not dead, then they're probably going to be a superhero. Or a supervillain, and you're fucked. So either way.
Oh, definitely supervillain. I feel like there's not although that probably would be a pretty okay backstory of getting electrocuted has taught me the error of my ways. So I use my electric powers for good.
Yeah, I died and met whoever. I don't know.
Phil Sims. I died and met Phil Sims. And now now I get it.
He mentored me. Is Phil Sims? I think he's alive, right? I'm pretty sure Phil Sims is like fine. He's on TV a lot.
I know, that's why it was crazy because I died,
Okay.
but I met Phil Sims.
Which is weird. Yeah, he's like actively on football shows on a weekly basis. He's in good shape.
Seems to be doing quite well.
Yeah, 55.
Fun playing beer league hockey as an adult. So Long Island is where I live, and that is also where Boomer Esiason lives. And I never actually played his men's league team. I did see him playing after my team a few times, but a guy I played with was in a league that Boomer Esiason was in, and they were all just like, yeah, every game we just fucking break his balls and call him Phil Sims. It's like, that's fucking great.
I'm sure he loved it.
Yeah.
I bet he did. He probably liked getting his balls busted. Just,
Definitely.
Being a dude.
Yeah, like especially if it's fucking clever. Like where
Yeah.
the ones where you're like, God damn it, I can't even be mad at that because that's so good. Speaking of Phil Sims and Boomer Esiason, who's the next death penalty we've got?
Hell of a transition.
I learned it from watching you, okay? I learned it from watching you.
Touche. This one is the gas chamber. In 1924, the use of cyanide gas was introduced as Nevada sought a more humane way of executing its inmates. G. John was the first person executed by lethal gas. The state tried to pump. I don't know. Did anybody know about this? This is funny. The state tried to pump cyanide gas into John's cell while he slept, but it proved impossible because the gas leaked from his cell. So the gas chamber was constructed. Was this a planned execution, or was it just like, put it in? Sleeping, go ahead, pump it in.
He's never know it. Also, by the way, G. John, like that sounds like a rapper's name.
It's spelled G-E-E, so I don't know if it's Guy John or G John. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm sure whoever it wasn't a good person. Let's just look up real quick and see if they're famous.
Which 1924
murder? Oh,
that's
yeah,
that's right after World War I. So they're like, mustard gas is inhumane. However, they're like, ooh, gases seem to kill people. What gas can we use that won't violate the Geneva Convention? Which hasn't happened yet. But when it does,
one day.
we don't want to get.
Go
ahead.
Forget it. That's why it was the first person happened to be a Cantonese national that lived in America. Yeah, use him. I don't even want to say the word that it was probably used, but it rhymes with sink. So that's how we tested it. And the last use of a gas chamber was on March 3rd, 1909, when Walter Legrand, a German national, was executed in Arizona. So interesting. We're into gassing foreigners, even though in California said this is cruel and unusual punishment in 94. Interesting.
What state was that? That was Arizona.
Arizona. Yeah, California said this is cruel and unusual punishment. No one's doing this anymore. And Arizona said, fuck you, California, doing this German.
California said, hey, we can't do this anymore. And Arizona said, hey, we have a few left.
We got a couple more in the
we
tank.
have to deplete our inventory before we can move forward with this idea. Everything must go.
But, so interesting. 11 states authorize lethal gas as a method of execution, but lethal injection is still the primary. But 3 of those 11 states authorize execution by nitrogen hypoxia, which we just talked about. So it's catching on. It's in 3 states. But still no one has tried it yet. It's coming up for, what's his face? Smith.
How weird is that your state is like, yeah, we love this death penalty, this way to kill people with the death penalty. Yeah, how's it been so far? We have no idea. It sounds good. So
the vet said it worked on chickens. That works for me.
So
all right.
Do they kill chickens that you eat with that?
No, I guess just the chickens that were bad. No, I think it's more like a euthanizing kind of situation. Yeah.
Oh shit.
That seems like a waste of nitrogen, though. You can easily kill a chicken with.
Have you tried to kill a chicken before? It's not hard.
Yeah, no, it's super. Catching them is the hard part. But once you have them, don't waste your nitrogen. Put a mask on it as you hold it under your arm. That's a lot.
Oh man. Fuck chickens. They're birds. We don't like birds on this show.
It's true. So for execution by cyanide gas method, the condemned person is strapped to a chair in an airtight chamber. Below the chair rests a pail of sulfuric acid. A long stethoscope is typically affixed to the inmate so a doctor outside the chamber can pronounce death. And then once everyone has left the same chamber, the room is sealed. The warden gives the signal, the executioner flicks a lever, and it releases crystals of sodium cyanide into the pail, causes a chemical reaction, and releases the hydrogen cyanide gas.
I love the idea of, you said the sentence of, there's a doctor outside the chamber who can, waiting to pronounce death. Like, I love the idea of him looking at a book just going, yeah.
Why is that?
Oh, death. They ring the bell. It's like, all right, ding, 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 ding. You got it. You get the bid on the Showcase Showdown.
So, just want to read a couple of firsthand accounts from people. This is from Clinton Duffy, who is the former penitentiary warden from San Quentin, California. At first, there is evidence of extreme horror, pain, and strangling. The eyes pop, the skin turns purple, and the victim begins to drool. And the next person is Richard Traistman of Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine. said the person is unquestionably experiencing pain and extreme anxiety. The sensation is similar to the pain felt by a person during a heart attack, where essentially the heart is being deprived of oxygen. So, I think that. Oh, and one more thing. Carol Chessman, before he died in California's gas chamber in 1960, told reporters that he would nod his head if it hurt. Witnesses say he nodded his head for several minutes.
Oh, God.
So this sounds fucking brutal.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Again, Saudi Arabia beheading.
Like in Snatch. They don't like what you're doing. They give you the chop. And I'm not talking about his fucking foreskin.
That's true. I guess it's a matter of how quickly the punishment is handed out. That's the issue. But if we're talking about on the scale of how humane this thing is.
Yeah, that one does not sound humane at all.
No, it sounds really bad. Well, the last one is lethal injection. And we've, this is kind of the popular one that everyone knows about. That is fairly common.
I am sorry. I am going to stop you. I thought I could hold this pee.
And we can start picking up with the recording again here. Welcome back, Charles. Lethal injection, everybody's favorite method of execution. Actually, no, it's not. Firing squad is the best.
It certainly got the consensus of the crowd on this program. Big firing squad group listening to our podcast. That's our demographic. People who are into firing squads.
Most Scientology jerks would choose firing squad. That's what I've heard. I don't get. Well, before we go into lethal injection, there's 4 guns. Why? How come one of them can't go for the head? Like 3 of them go for the heart, 1 go for the head.
Yeah, like don't you? Do you guys want to do this or not? Like what?
Yeah.
What the fuck is? Get off the fucking fence and decide whether or not you want this motherfucker dead.
Right. If we're gonna do firing squad, let's fucking do it. Let's do firing squad.
Why is it 4 guns and a few bullets? Why is it not one guy with a mini machine gun with 7 or 8 barrels on it, just right in the guy's face, just
right,
real quick, just like the gun in Predator that Jesse the Body had.
Like when they say, what are the uses of AK-47s in civilian life? This is the use for the AK-47. This is exactly what they were made for. Murdering a person. And there's the chance.
Quickly.
This is what you mow them down. Yeah, end it. leave pieces.
They were meant to say brat, as I've heard in so many songs.
Yeah.
But yeah, 4 AKs at somebody's face. Just fucking unload a clip, all 4 of you.
Yeah. And, keep them out of kids' hands. Give them to the firing squad. Win-win situation. The people that love AK-47s and shooting things, we have a job for you.
Yeah, you have there's a way to relieve that tension without it boiling over into terrible things. How about you just let these people kill people for money?
Yeah. Yeah, and especially and that brings us right back around to lethal injection, because here's the thing about lethal injection. Okay, so first we have a harmless saline solution, and then we have an anesthetic that puts the inmate to sleep. And then there's words I'm going to mispronounce, but pavulon, P-A-V-U-L-O-N.
Are you trying to pronounce pavilion?
I don't think so. Pavulon. It's a type of bromide, apparently. It's pavulon or pancuronium bromide, which are used to paralyze the entire muscle system and stop the breathing. And finally, the flow of potassium chloride that stops the heart. The death results from anesthetic overdose and respiratory and cardiac arrest while the condemned person is unconscious, which sounds all peaches and cream, I guess you could say. However, medical ethics discourage doctors from participating in executions, which means that a doctor might be there to say, yes, this person is dead, but they're not the ones sticking the things in veins. They're not the ones who are sending the drugs through. It's by people that are typically not trained for this or minimal training. So they're missing
All the
veins.
doctors are like,
They're
it's Hippocratic oath, not hypocritic
exactly.
oath.
Right. Exactly.
Also,
yeah.
because I
So-
interrupted you, I want to bring back, I want to talk about bromide for a second. Bromide sounds like it would be like a protein supplement that you'd find at GNC. You take any pre-workout? Dude, I took bromide. I'm gonna fuck these weights up today, bro, and shit my pants simultaneously for the next 4.5 hours. It's gonna be sick.
All I had for breakfast was salmon skin and this bromide. Now I'm ready to pump iron.
Salmon skin.
That's the new diet.
Look, you only need to eat about 30 to 50 grams of salmon skin before you work out. It's not a lot, but it's very concentrated protein. There is no other concentration of protein in nature like salmon skin.
It's scientific. But these are the people who are now trying to find your vein. So it doesn't work.
Why don't they have like it's find a vein? Why isn't it like all the other stuff that gets delivered into your body intravenously at this point in a medical facility? There's a bag of shit of saline, and then they just inject into the bag. You don't even. All you have to do is find the bag.
Right, and just swap it out. And open.
You
the
have
thing.
to be able to stand up, push the plunger, and see. Those are the three things that it would require. If you could do all three of those things, you could do this fucking job. Why do doctors have to get involved for that?
Yeah, no, that's true. But I mean, so between what you were saying before, that there's a shortage, that drug companies don't want their drugs to be used for this. Doctors don't want to do it. And people are fucking up, and it's not as humane as you might think, because if it doesn't, like it says here, if a member of the execution team injects the drugs into a muscle instead of a vein, or if the needle becomes clogged, extreme pain can result. Many prisoners have damaged veins from blah blah blah. So they use drugs again, like we were talking about heroin, get out of lethal injection free card. But like, there's all this stuff against doing it. And we have psychopaths that want to shoot people. Let's use them for their strengths. And doctors don't want to do it. Medical companies don't want to do it. No more lethal injection. The NRA would be on board with fucking firing squads in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, like especially with specific crimes. Like you could volunteer. Like you wouldn't even have to pay people to do this. People would do this for free.
Yeah. Like send a flyer to a militia and be like, instead of defending nothing, do you guys want to come do something?
Instead of defending the woods.
Right.
Do you want to shoot somebody for free? Like that, I mean, from a budget standpoint alone, there is zero overhead. All you need to do is have the prisoner in a place that exists, and they'll show up and kill this person for free.
Yeah, and you can give these people like room and board, which is really kind of in prison also, because you got to watch them too. But they can go to the store if they need to, maybe. But it's a way to keep these people. It's like having a working dog. If you have a dog, like a certain breeds are meant to do something. You need to give them a task, otherwise they start ripping your pillows up and shit like that. It's kind of along those lines.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you give that working dog a pillow to chew up every now and again, it's not going to go into a public place, let's say a couch store, and chew up all the couches in the couch store at once because it wasn't able to get it.
Right.
That makes all
Yeah.
the sense in the world. I get it. It's a pretty aggressive swing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea what we're keeping in from tonight. We said a lot of wild shit.
No, I don't. I don't know if we sound pro-gun or anti-gun, or we just sound like fucking idiots. I don't know.
Well, the lattest is definitely the thing we sound like. Whether or not the other one of the other two is involved.
Yeah, we don't care about the other two. We're aiming for the fucking idiot one. That's the intended target. But yeah, that's the death penalty.
And that's the death penalty. Wow. There's got to be cooler ways to kill people.
I'm sure.
Like,
there was a movie with the like, I can't even remember the movie, but they stuck an explosive in the guy's mouth and then like wedged it down and closed it. It was like a little round blow up thing for someone with like, it was like a superhero movie. He had hard skin or something like that.
Was that Iron Man 3?
Maybe. I'm just gonna say whatever you say, because I have no fucking clue right now. But sticking an explosive inside someone seems like a cool way to kill someone.
Yeah, like a big enough explosion. Like how is drugs less expensive than dynamite?
I don't know. Or put him in a box, fight this cobra. Like, all you gotta do is catch the cobra. That's cheap, no?
Catch the
Someone could do that.
It's like the boo box from Hook. instead of 3 scorpions, 14 cobras, all in the same box.
Good luck.
How is it not just? Oh man,
Gorilla fight.
Dude, I was gonna say lions are down. Lions are down for this shit.
Yeah.
Tigers are down for this shit.
Yeah, like your sentence is you have to go try to housebreak this tiger with no guidance or tools. Good luck. And if you win, congratulations, you have a pet tiger and you can both go free.
There are more, and I don't remember where this, again, this I say, they say, but also means I heard it and retained it regardless of the source of the information. There are more tigers in the state of Texas in captivity than there are in the wild.
Yeah, I've heard some shit like that too. Bad news for wild tigers.
But good news for those captivity tigers, because if we could convince these motherfuckers, I bet people who have tigers in captivity would be down to, yes, absolutely. You can release 3 prisoners a week onto my property in 20 acres where I keep these tigers.
That'd be pretty sick. Well, how about at the zoo? Have you ever been to the zoo where they have enrichment for the animals? Like they have their normal feeding schedules and stuff like that, but a couple times a week they have something where they call it enrichment, and they give them some kind of toy, a tire, or something stupid for them to play with. Maybe the gorillas twice a month they get a death row inmate. That's their enrichment at the zoo, and you can watch it from the little platform behind the glass.
You are letting, assumedly, millions of years of instincts. Give them the opportunity to act those out. Prey drive is a thing for a reason.
And the amount of money you would make on Enrichment Day can go towards saving the wild tigers.
People would pay so much money to what,
Yep.
live stream that shit and charge per person. People would be throwing. You could charge $200 a person, and
Yeah.
people would pay it. You would have a steady income of $200 times however many people. It would be fantastic.
Yeah. And you would make more money than that person made to kill the other person that they're now getting thrown in with the gorilla because
Exactly.
of. Yeah.
And like,
We can give money. Half can go to the victim, half can go to the tigers.
and you still get state taxes on that. That's money made. And as George Carlin said, use that to balance the fucking budget.
Yeah.
Right there.
We're solving all the problems if you stop being such a pussy about it. Yeah.
Saudi Arabia
Let's be honest.
Saudi Arabia is going to get ahead of this game.
That's why they got the money.
They got the money. They got the tigers. They got disposable income.
And no problem executing people.
Nice work, Saudi Arabia.
Not so nice with the whole blood money thing,
Right.
but everything
As
that
far
we're
as-
talking about.
From a killing people legally standpoint.
Yeah, you guys, you do all right.
Anywho, under the guise of science, guys always spelled Guise at Gmail, Facebook, and Instagram.
Also on YouTube, on TikTok, and at Science Guys on Twitter. Like us, subscribe, rate us, all that kind
Download
of
our
stuff,
things. Let us know what you want us to talk about.
Listen to Fart Bar.
Totes. And see you next time, you fuckers.